Forget about the fact that Jared Goff is a mediocre quarterback. And for you Lions fans out there want to say, oh, Jared Goff had a better passer rating than Jalen Hurts last year. Yeah, he did. But Goff is what he is. And Jalen Hurts, I still believe, is on the incline and getting better. They don't have much of a running game. Jamal Williams gave an impassioned speech last night, but it doesn't make him a 1,000-yard rusher. Their number one draft pick doesn't look like he's going to be ready at the wideout position from Alabama before the season starts. I just don't think the Lions are going to be a good team. Appreciate you streaming in here on Birds 365. We're getting that much closer to the first game of the season. 32 days till kickoff. Will Jason Kelsey be back by that time? That's just one of several things we're talking about here on Birds 365 with Jeff Kerr sitting in for Jody Mac. He's at early Eagles practice again today. They moved it up because I was there yesterday. It was hot. I couldn't blame the Eagles for moving it up because even at their 9 a.m. start, it was all right. I got in my car at 7:55 to head over to the NovaCare complex. It was already 84 degrees at 7:55 in the morning. That's ridiculous. Anyway, so I'm bemoaning the Eagles because they're moving their practice, which keeps Jody Mac out of the mix. We didn't get a chance to punch him up, but I truthfully can't blame them for doing so because it's going to be another hot one again today. All right, I know we're jettisoning past this weekend's all-important preseason game against the Jets and the two other preseason games with co-practices tied to them, and it seems like the Eagles put more into the joint practices than they do the actual exhibition games. We're fast-forwarding through all of that and getting to week one against the Detroit Lions. I've been saying it for the better part of a month here on Birds 365. It's not if the Eagles beat the Lions, it's how many touchdowns the Eagles beat the Lions by. I just don't think the Lions are going to be a very good team this year. We'll get an inside look at them on Hard Knocks. I'm going to get your Cisco and Ebert report on Hard Knocks here in just a second, Jeff. But here's one. Forget about the fact that Jared Goff is a mediocre quarterback. And for you Lions fans out there want to say, oh, Jared Goff had a better passer rating than Jalen Hurts last year. Yeah, he did. But Goff is what he is. And Jalen Hurts, I still believe, is on the incline and getting better. They don't have much of a running game. Jamal Williams gave an impassioned speech last night, but it doesn't make him a 1,000-yard rusher. Their number one draft pick doesn't look like he's going to be ready at the wideout position from Alabama before the season starts. I just don't think the Lions are going to be a good team. And this is a story that's kind of gone underplayed, Jeff, and I need your take on this. I want your take on the Lions just in general, and we got the Hard Knocks in a second. But you've seen these stories about Lion retirements, right?
There's been plenty of them. There's, been 4 of them already?
4 players since the offseason started, 2 before camp, 2 after camp started, that walked away and said, thank you, no, we don't need to be here anymore. Guys who are fighting for their NFL lives. 2 of the guys were undrafted free agents this year, were in college last year, and know this is their one chance to make the NFL, and they said, yeah, no, dealing with the Lions or playing in the National Football League, the heck with this. Let me go home. That's not a good sign any way you slice it, Jeff Kerr. The guys are willing to just walk away from the National Football League. They didn't get cut by the Lions. They told the Lions, thank you, no, we don't want to be here anymore. Dan Campbell may be an old school coach. He may be able to come up with some fun quotes. He may be a coach that would play well here in Philadelphia. He's got guys quitting on him left, right, and center. That's not a good sign. That's why the Detroit Lions don't scare me. How do you explain 4 guys, 21, 22 years old, walking away from the football team before a season ever gets started?
So I got to say this, just from Hard Knocks. And, the scene where Dan Campbell was doing the up-downs with his players, I always said, when I played in high school, my coach did up-downs with us or did something like that. You better outwork him because you're never going to hear the end of it if he does. And I don't think professional football players, most of them, some of them may actually like how the coach does that, could inspire them. But those undrafted guys, those fringe guys, if their coach who did play in the NFL and is 46 years old is not working you, that's a sign for him like, you're not cut out to be a Lion.
So you think he scared him off because he did up downs?
I think that's part of it. I'm not saying all of it. I'm just saying it's Dan Campbell he reminds me of a guy I really wouldn't want to mess with. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't want to get in his doghouse.
I give you that.
I just would not want to get in that man's doghouse. It just seems like Jody, I got to tell you a story. I still remember, I think it was from 2002 when Dan Campbell and Jeremy Shockey were teammates with the Giants. I think they both ate dirt to prove how tough they were. I vaguely remember that. I know Shockey did. I'm pretty sure Campbell did it with him. And I'm like, okay, this guy's a head coach in the league now, and I get he's providing a lot of opportunities, giving a lot of former NFL players an opportunity to move up that they don't get that opportunity anywhere else. I mean, look at Deuce Staley. But as far as the Lions, I'm a lot more worried about the Detroit Lions that Jameson Williams is going to play week 1. He's not. He's just not going to be ready for that. So, but I'm telling you, there's talent on that team. Are they going to be good? No, but I think they could shock some people this year. And week 1, you don't know if you're a bad team yet. Jamal Williams could say, hey, we were a bad team last year, and I remember that effing record and all this stuff. But I would not sleep on the Detroit Lions week 1. Let's just put it that way, because Amon-Ra St. Brown can make your life a living, if you allow him to. The Eagles, I think they take care of business week 1, but they have to put pressure on Jared Goff early. They have to score early. If they have to run the ball 50 times to beat them, which I think they could do, by the way, so be it. Get this win. They should win this game by at least 10 points, but I'm telling you, they better not start all slow against this football team because that gives bad teams life.
All right. So I'll ask this question. I think I asked Johnny Mac this one too. We knew that the Eagles' schedule was going to be what it was going to be as far as the opponents and the location, where the games were going to be as soon as last season ended. That's how the NFL works. Yeah, they do the schedule by rote. You know exactly who the teams you're going to play are. The only thing you don't know is what the dates are going to be, what order they're going to be in. Are you going to be on Amazon on Thursday night or a Sunday night game? That needs to be all ferreted out, and they do it a little bit earlier every single year, and they make a day of it on television. The entire NFL network talks about the schedule breakdown for 24 hours, every single team, every single game. And more power to them that they know how to milk their product. But we know who the Eagles are going to play as soon as the season ends the year before. They were going to play the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Where do you think would have been the best place for them to play Detroit? And their first game of the season was going to be against somebody somewhere that they have on their schedule. Who would you have preferred to play week 1? If Roger Goodell gave you the pen and said, go ahead, write it down on the board, Kerr. Fill out the Eagles schedule for me. Put it together in any order you want. Who would you have had week 1 as the best opponent for the Eagles? And where would you have slotted Eagles at Lions in?
So Eagles Lions, I think I'd rather play them toward the middle of the season, just because, kind of like last year. I kind of liked how they had the Lions in Detroit. What was it, week 8? I believe it was week 8, week 9. It was early November or October, early November. I think Halloween. That's when they played them. So I think I'd rather have them there. Call me crazy, Jody. I like when they played really good teams from the year before week 1. Like, I remember the Andy Reid years. I loved when they played the St. Louis Rams week 1, Tampa Bay Buccaneers week 1. When the Atlanta Falcons were good, they played them week 1. I just like that because I always thought it was a good early season test. Week 1, week 2, I like to get those teams out of the way. So I'm not saying I want to play Dallas Cowboys week 1, but I feel like if they play the playoff team from last year, I think that'd be more than ideal. But again, this should be like the Houston Texans in 2006. This should be like I'm trying to think of like quote unquote easy opponents. Washington in 2017. They should take care of business week 1. Like, it's very ideal for them to start out 1-0, but you also got to make sure you're prepared for that week, because if not, this is a Lions team that can sneak up on you. They do a really good offensive line. They have a good tight end. They have good wide receivers. Even without Jameson Williams, DeAndre Swift can beat you. but it's the defense. This is where I think Eagles could score points week 1. The Lions' defense is bad. And Aiden Hutchinson is going to make a difference in that pass rush, but can he transform the entire defense? I not in week 1, toward the end of the year maybe, but they just have to go in there, play like the talented team I've seen in training camp, and just what was the phrase Dan Campbell used? I don't care if you have one butt cheek or 3 toes, I'm going to kick your butt. I'm putting this nicely because we're on here. That's not what he actually said, but that's how they got Jake the Lions. They just got to go, we don't care. We're going to go out there and we're going to pound the crap out of them.
Yeah, see, you and I see this differently. Number one, if I could pick any team to play week 1, I would pick the Detroit Lions. I think the schedule maker did the Eagles a major
You would play the
solid.
Texans?
I would rather play the Lions. Texans, are you? Is that one in Houston?
Yeah, it's a Thursday night game.
Okay, you're right. Either Lions or Texans. Good point by you. I want a layup. If I can get a layup week 1, head of the field slam dunk, please give it to me, because the Eagles are still, I don't want to say they're building something from the bottom up, but Jalen Hurts' development as their starting quarterback is still a work in progress. They added a couple of major pieces during this offseason: Hassan Reddick, A.J. Brown, James Bradbury. Feel free to give me a week or 2 to get them up to speed before they're going to be tested against a team with one of the better offenses. If we're talking about the defensive guys, Jordan Davis is going to be plugged right in and going to have an impact week number 1. I want to give those guys that week of growth. Let's build off a win first, a win that we think we're going to get, a game that we're going to be favored in. Oh, they're going to be favored by more than a field goal. I think it might be more than 4 points by the time the line comes out on those games.
It could be a touchdown, honestly, Jody. I know the Lions were 3-3 in their last 6 last year, and they did have some impressive wins toward the end of the season, but still, the Lions haven't done anything in 30 years. They haven't won a playoff game in 30 years. It's the longest active streak in the NFL. Eagles have won more playoff games in one postseason than the Lions have in the last 65 years. So, I mean, ideally, yeah, you do kind of want to play Detroit. I just would not sleep on Dan Campbell. He is a guy I would never want to underestimate in any circumstance. I don't care if he's a good coach or a bad coach. He just has that Ray Rhodes vibe to him. Don't sleep on him, at least early in his career.
Watch this. I'm sleeping on Dan Campbell.
And you're probably going to end up right here in the win by 21 points, but I'm going to say that it's because of their talent and because of how
that's the biggest part of it, is the Eagles just have a more talented roster. And as far as playing a really good team the first week, if you had given me your line of logic in 2018 when the Eagles were coming off a Super Bowl win, I'm with you, Kerr. Yeah, you've got a veteran squad. You've already set the bar. It's unbelievable high again the next year, because what do you do after you win the Super Bowl? You got to try and win another one, right? You got to go back. Oh, we're not going to win the Super Bowl, but we'll try and be competitive. That don't work. Try and sell that to your fan base. No chance, no shot. So I get your line of logic, but the team has to be in the right position for that to be applicable. And this team coming off 9-8, really 9-7, last game doesn't count, and a butt kicking in the playoffs isn't high enough for me to say, yeah, go ahead, give me your sternest test week number 1. I want to find out right away how good. No, going to be good. The question is how good, No. I want to build this up. I want this to be a building, and I'm perfectly fine with beating the snot out of Lions week number 1. Now, week 2 against Minnesota, that could be a little bit of a test, but I want the Lions week number 1 so I can get off with a big W start the season.
Yeah, one thing I will say about this Eagles team, and this is why, I say you shouldn't be scared of the Lions, because I feel this Eagles team has a lot to prove. I think the quarterback has a lot to prove. I think the receiver has a lot to prove. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. I think the coach has a lot to prove. Trust me, they hear the BS people say about them on Twitter. They do. You didn't beat anybody good last year. Well, the Lions aren't good either, and they'll say that after week 1, but the Eagles are going to want to prove a point each and every week. We are a darn good football team. We are going to go out here and we are going to win games. We are going to live up to these expectations you guys are creating. But they're tired of hearing they were 0-7 against teams with winning records last year, because to me, that's a BS stat sometimes, because 3 of those teams they beat when they had winning records. So I look at it as this team is hungry. They're going to have something to prove. Yeah, the Lions are hungry dogs too, but you know who invented hungry dog speech? The Eagles. So, and there's still players on that team that carry a lot of weight. I just don't see a Lane Johnson, a Jordan Mailata, a Brandon Graham. I just don't see leaders like that. And Jordan Mailata's become a leader on this team, by the way.
Sure.
I just don't see players like that allowing them to lose week 1. I just don't.
All right. We discussed this when we had Mike on the air. I want to get a good 10, 12-minute conversation in with it about you, JK, because we got Derek Gunn, D-Gun, from Sports Take here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel is going to jump aboard. We know that D-Gun has his opinions and contacts and connection with the Eagles, so we'll go heavy birds with him when we punch him up. All right. As I mentioned with Mike when I had him on, Johnny Mac Monday said with me here on Birds 365, truth be told, if he could whisper in Shane Steichen's ear, he would tell him from week 1 on, run the ball, run the ball. Don't fool around with pass. What do you do best? You run the ball. That hasn't changed. Run the ball. And I was on WIP yesterday with Joe DeCamera, who said the strength of this team is the offensive line. The strength of the offensive line is run blocking, getting those big boys out in front, opening holes. That's what worked for us in the second half of the season. Run, Forrest, run. Don't go down this passing road. You're only going to get behind the 8 ball like you did last year, off to a slow start. I understand the philosophy of it, but then you got to jump into the reality of it and the money that they gave A.J. Brown and the fact that, yeah, they ran the ball so successfully the second half of the season, and then they went into Tampa for a playoff game, and it was 31-0 before you blinked. Do they really want to reproduce that again this year? I think the defense is going to be better, so they have a better chance in that playoff game if they get in against a more prolific passing team in the opening round of the playoffs this year. They get a better chance just because their defense is going to be that much better. But they're probably going to be a dog again, except for the fact that the game will be here at Lincoln Financial Field, because I think the Eagles are going to win the division. You don't think there's any chance the Eagles between now and that first game in Detroit come to the realization, hey, we're just a running team, so we got to play the cards we're dealt. Let's go back to the running game. You don't think there's any chance of that happening, do you?
Eagles ran the ball to the extreme last year. You know, they were 60-40 running the ball. Usually teams are 60-40 passing the ball. No, I think they're going to run the ball. I think there's going to be stretches where they run the football a lot, especially against bad football teams. But overall, I think it would be more healthier if this team would go 55-45 passing. Running the ball is going to be a strength for this team. I think you run the ball when you build that early lead, throwing the football. And I think that's what they need to do this year. Do I think they'll come to the reality that they need to run the ball? It all depends on the matchup. If quarterback's having a bad start, I run the football. If, the secondary is outmatching the quarterback, yeah, I'd run the football just because I want to do whatever I can to win football game. But look, this isn't Rodney Peete back here. It's not. It's Jalen Hurts. He's going to find ways this year to beat opponents. Will he be Patrick Mahomes in doing it? Will he be Justin Herbert in doing it? No, but he's improved. I'm just saying right now, just from what I've seen, he's improved. He's working on throwing the ball over the middle. He's got better receivers this year. Everybody seems to forget that, by the way. The Eagles receiving core last year outside of Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert was terrible. I'm sorry. It wasn't good. When Quez Watkins is your second best receiver, you got some problems. You do. And they improved that this year. The offensive line is good. It was the best offensive line last year, and it'd be even better. The defense was terrible. Jalen Hurts is going to have more of a leeway this year than he did last year. So, in a way, yeah, you can run the ball. And I don't mind them doing that. I want to go by what's going to be successful enough for this team to win that particular week. And that's what the good teams do. Tom Brady doesn't have to throw the football 50 times a game for them to win. It's
But
very
but he
helpful.
pretty much does. You say he doesn't need to, but he does. That's what Tampa does. They throw the football all over the place.
Well, they did throw the ball 784 times last year. So, yeah, I could be wrong there. But it's – look, I'm just saying the Eagles are a team that can beat you running the football. I think that's a nice ace in your – it's a nice ace in the hole. Let's just put it that way.
And here's the thing that I think you need to keep your eye on and remember from last year. Jalen Hurts missed one game last year, and the aforementioned Gardner Minshew stepped in, played well enough. It was against a pretty putrid Jet defense. I know. I was there. I was at the game. And I know the Jets quite well. Their defense wasn't good last year. So I don't want to make too much out of Gardner's big game. Gardner tried, walked into the coach's office and said, "Hey, what do I have to do to become the starting quarterback here?" And the coach said, "Not happening, Gardner. Thanks for the win, big guy, but you're not becoming the starting quarterback." And oh, by the way, as Jeff noted correctly earlier in the show, Gardner's been awful in practices, awful, just terrible in Eagle practices. This isn't Jody McDonald's opinion. I saw him for one day yesterday and watch him throw a couple of balls away badly. No, this is everybody who covers the Eagles every single day. Johnny Mac being our lead guy here on Birds 365. Everybody said that Gardner's kind of stunk it up. So if Jalen Hurts should go down, and everybody's got their opinions. I love our people on our stream. They argue Jalen Hurts with us here every single day. Whatever you think of Jalen Hurts, he is the guy, if the Eagles are going to go anywhere, it's going to take them there. If you think Gardner Minshew is coming in off the bench, and if he has to start 10 games in the regular season and carry them into the playoffs, you can go ahead and cancel those Super Bowl parade parties because they're not going to happen. Gardner Minshew just isn't that type of quarterback.
So get that thought out of your head. Jimmy Garoppolo is not coming to Philadelphia.
Where is Garoppolo going, by the way? I saw today the 49ers came out and said, we don't have to trade him until cutdown day. Yeah, good luck trying to trade him. I think he's going to actually end up having to be cut. Where do you think he ends up?
The only team that can take on his salary right now is the team who...
No. You're not getting me. And I'm sorry to interrupt. He's not going to be cut. He's not going to be traded. He's going to be cut. Nobody's going to take him on. Nobody wants to pay Jimmy Garoppolo $24 million. They'll say, we'll wait till the 49ers cut him, which I believe they will do, and then we'll pay him whatever we want to pay him. Are you actually saying you think that somebody's going to trade for him and pay him it's $24 million?
I'm just saying there's only one team that can do it, and that's the Cleveland Browns. But they're not going to do that. So, yeah, he's going to get cut. And the San Francisco 49ers do not want him going to the Seattle Seahawks, but that's the team. That's the team. Look who they got back there. Geno Smith and Drew Lock. Are you really telling me you're going to go into the year with them, even if you're rebuilding? Like, you have Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf on your team. The ball has to get to them in some way, shape, or form. And look, Geno Smith did a fine job in the couple games he played for Seattle last year. He's not the long-term answer. Is Jimmy Garoppolo? No, but it's a much better option than what you got. Everybody just seems to be set at the quarterback position. The Houston Texans are set at the quarterback position going into 2022 with Davis Mills, who was one of the better quarterbacks in the league the last 5 games last year. So I'm looking at it as, are you just going to keep him 4th team quarterback on your depth chart this year because you don't want to release him? No, someone's going to pick him up somewhere along the line. My guess is it's Seattle. Maybe Cleveland, depending on how long Deshaun Watson is suspended. Again, we just don't know. 6 games is right now, but that may change because of the appeal.
Seattle question. I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, maybe. I did think this would be the ideal team for him. Maybe Carolina, but they got Baker Mayfield now, so that's not happening. But those are the only 3.
Let me get your Seattle take here. Johnny and I have discussed this before. He actually believes that when Jimmy Garoppolo becomes available for whatever negotiated price you can get done with him, the Seattle Seahawks may not even engage, might not even talk to him, that they are actually attempting to tank, that there's been a lot of tanking talk in the NFL, certainly around the Dolphins.
I will say that. They're 1 of 2. The Atlanta Falcons are definitely tanking, no matter what people say.
Okay. I would say Seattle first, Atlanta no better than second, but if you want to put them on a par, that's fine with me. They're not going all out to win football games. We can agree on that. And the whole investigation into Ross down in Miami for whether he did or didn't tell the coach, I give you a bonus if you don't win games because we want to move up in the draft. Foolish Mike Lombardi.
I will say this. These teams are trying to win games. It's just, I don't think they care if they win games. It's the Atlanta Falcons do not have a franchise quarterback on their roster. They don't. And if they get number one pick, there's a good chance you're going to get one. And they're going to be a lot better because I like the Drake London pick. I like Kyle Pitts. Their offensive line isn't great, but they're building guys on defense, AJ Terrell and stuff. Like, there's players there, but they need that franchise quarterback. And I think Marcus Mariota is just a bridge guy. Same with Drew Lock, same with whoever there. Seattle's definitely retooling. It's because I'll say it. Seattle signing DK Metcalf and not trading him is a good sign that they still feel they can compete in a couple years' time. They just need the quarterback again. They have the capital because they traded Russell Wilson.
I am glad you used the word bridge quarterback, because I have my own definition of a bridge. Bridge is just supposed to get you to the other side. Oh, I think there are certain bridges that get you right into the abyss, that just go right off into the drop-off zone.
You mean Marcus Mariota's one of them?
I unfortunately do, and I was a big Mariota fan coming out of Oregon. I thought he was going to be an above-average NFL quarterback. He's as mediocre as they come. I do like him better than either of the two guys in Seattle, though. If we're talking about putting them in some kind of an order, I think the Seahawks are actually worse. Seahawks have more talented wide receivers. They might be able to make plays even with bad quarterbacks. But I think that's
they have made plays with bad quarterbacks. Like I thought they made Geno Smith half decent last year in the games they played. That's the Sunday Night Football game. Metcalf and Lockett, they turn some bad Smith throws into big gains. So again, it's I just can't believe Geno Smith or Drew Lock might start NFL games this year. A lot of NFL games this year.
Well, one of them has to. My guess is it's going to be Locked, but we'll see how that shakes out.
Maybe they'll trade for Gardner. Maybe they'll believe in the Fool's Gold and say we're crazy reporters.
No, see, they can't even do that. And I know Gardner's been god-awful in practice this year, but I actually broached that a month ago, 6 weeks ago here on Bird 365. Could they trade Gardner Minshew? I did so because I thought Carson Strong might flash enough to merit being the backup quarterback. Oh, he's been pitiful. If Gardner's been bad, Carson Strong's been god-awful in practice. If you're telling me the Philadelphia Eagles season, by week 2, Jalen Hurts goes down with an injury, could be in the hands of Reed Stinnett for 2 months, why would we do Birds 365? They'd have to cancel the show.
Yeah, that's why Gardner's still an Eagle. And they'll be an Eagle. Like, Gardner Minshew could start in this league. He has started in this league. But, yeah, you're right. Reed Stinnett. Oh, yeah, I mean, he's badly outplaying Carson Strong. I'm curious to see how Carson Strong looks when he actually does play Friday night.
Yeah, he is going to play. The preseason is upon us. Jets, Eagles, usually the last preseason game. This year, the first preseason game. That is just one of the things we'll talk about with our next guest, our very own Derek Gunn. D. Gunn's going to join us, hopping aboard here to us on Bird 365. You hear him here every day on the Sports Take Show. Looking forward to shooting a breeze with Derek Gunn. He's scheduled next here on Birds 365.